launch team wishes you good luck and Godspeed.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Space Monkeys, Episode 5. Today, blasting off about Astar and Shiden. Joined by the guys who are making it happen, Sota Watanabe, CEO of Stake Technologies, the company responsible for the two networks, and Maarten Henskins, VP of Growth. Maarten, Sota, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to the Space Monkeys podcast.
Thank you very much for having us, Jay. I'm really excited.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jay, for having us here. Actually, I'm pretty stoked that you mentioned my name correctly, so thanks for that.
So, guys, I thought I'd start with asking Sota a little bit about who you were before you wound up working in the Polkadot ecosystem. Maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about where you came from and what you were doing that led you to the work you're doing today.
My name is Sota Watanabe. I'm founder of Astar Network and Shiden Network and CEO of Stake Technologies. And Stake Technology is creating Shiden and Astar. And Shiden and Astar are multi-chain smart contract hub that support Ethereum virtual machine, WebAssembly, and multiple layer 1 bridges. And apart from that, I'm one of the 7 directors at the Japan Blockchain Association and the task force member of Trusted Web Council led by Japanese government.
Wow, and before you got into blockchain, what were you working on when you were younger?
Yeah, I'm still young, but when I was in college, I used to work at local NPO in Russia, China, India, and the US. I used to work at a blockchain company in San Francisco.
Oh.
So I saw a lot of social problems such as poverty, discrimination, pollution, and so on. So I wanted to be involved in something bigger than me in solving these problems through technologies, because technologies empower people.
Yeah.
And technologies empower me to bring huge value to the world. So this is what I wanted to do. And that's why I chose blockchain, because blockchain is going to change our existing web and how people interact with the cyberspace completely. So I'm really excited about it.
Wow. And so at what point did you discover Polkadot?
Oh, yeah, this is a good question. So 3 years ago, Gavin was in Tokyo and he presented the vision of Web3 and Polkadot.
Yeah.
And at the time, the community was super small. So I joined Polkadot because I believed Web3 and the potential of Polkadot. And then luckily I could meet a lot of the projects and Web3 Foundation's members and Parity Technologies employees. So I could make a great relationship from day one. At that time, Polkadot was not launched. So there was literally almost no people who are talking about price. They are talking about vision in Web3.
Yeah.
So we could know each other before Polkadot launch. So yeah, I think I have a great relationship with them right now.
That's amazing. So you're there pretty much on the ground floor. You said it was a small group of people. Are we talking, a couple dozen people or less?
Oh yeah, super less.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so everybody was working from Gavin's vision, from a dream, really.
Yep.
What made you think that, well, you can lead a team and launch one of the largest parachains on the Polkadot and Kusama network?
Oh, yeah. So at the time, many one was there, like, Akara, Moonbeam, or Subquery. So leading project and leading people was there. So we could be a friend for a long time. And now Astar is also one of the top project in a Polkadot ecosystem. And community is getting bigger and bigger. So basically we are hiring people from our community. And Maarten was our ambassador.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see the community expansion.
Absolutely. Maarten, maybe you can tell me a little bit about how you found blockchain. And then I want to hear about how you got involved with, I guess it was probably Plasm at the time.
Yes, correct. It was back then called Plasm. But first, how I found about blockchain, I think we have to go back for 7 years. And at that time, I was just before the ICO hype was going on.
Yeah.
That was actually the first time I found out about the blockchain industry.
Wow.
And at that point, I just started like basically most of those crypto people now with just trading and looking for that hidden gem and trying to find some 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 return of investments at that time. And later on when I was a little bit, how do I say it, not really bored, but when I was looking more into the technology, um, I became more interested in what's behind the coin, what's behind the token, what's actually the project building and how will it change the future of the internet. And I had the background of IT when I studied in Belgium. And with that background, I was more and more interested in the code and how everything works. And that's actually how I started building my career in the blockchain.
Oh.
And the moment when I started to, or the moment I found out about Plasm back then, that was actually while I was participating in a hackathon. And the hackathon was organized by Encode, the Encode Club, and they were focusing on Polkadot because Polkadot was just brand new for developers. So I joined the hackathon. I did some small quests and challenges, and then I saw a tutorial to join Plasm back then, and I started looking for a project to build on Plasm. And when I was trying to do that, I found out that some documentation were missing or some pieces were missing for me to build. So I went to the developers to ask for advice, and that's how things got rolling. I started writing tutorials, started writing articles, and then I saw a job application. I applied to this. I had several talks with Sota. I started as an intern, and yeah, and slowly I got more and more involved in the project, and now I've been working for more than a year
Yeah.
for Star, and started now for I believe now 5-6 months full time. So yeah.
I think I heard on another podcast that you were a school teacher before you went full time.
Yes, correct. So how do I say it? I'm someone who really wants to go full in something. So I started working in IT, and I think 15, 20 years ago, I started working in IT, and I worked for a company here in Belgium for the internet, and I had to travel a lot with the car. And I got, after 6 years, I was like, okay, I don't want to be like spending hours in my car driving to customers to explain how to put something in a plug and how to turn on something. So I was completely bored with that because I really didn't like it. And if you know Belgium is always stuck in traffic jams. And my days were very long in a car, and I didn't like to be like that repair guy on the road. So I started looking for something else, and
Yeah.
so I started working in a primary school and teaching children. I did that for, I believe, 10 years, and with the age of they were, I believe, like 9, 10 years old, the children. Then everything, I was still busy and still working, or not working, but investigating blockchain and investigating new technologies. And then at the same time, I found out about Polkadot, and I read the white paper, I read Gavin Wood's vision, and it really attracted me back to the IT world. So I started slowly moving back towards the passion I had 20 years ago. And yeah, I decided last year to finish the last year of school, and I said goodbye to the children, and I'm now very happy with that choice now. So actually now I'm not teaching the children, but I'm teaching developers to use our ecosystem.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same.
Right.
So many people I'm seeing on Twitter right now are asking about how to find a full-time job in crypto. Do you have any advice for people?
Yeah, I always say to people like, first you have to, if you are looking for a job in crypto, look for a project really aligns with your vision that you have of the blockchain industry. And that's what I found about Blossom back then. The way that Sota handled the community and handled me and all the developers in that team,
Nice.
how open they were and how transparent everything was and how they even helped me with everything, that really, got me going for them, because the vision as well with building that community-driven blockchain and how to do this totally matched my something that I was looking for. And I think that's something that you really need to look for. You don't need to look for a job somewhere that you find and just go for it. No, you really have to dig into that project. And the blockchain world is something completely different than, how do I say it, real life businesses, because the more you get involved in the project, in the community as a community member, the more you get noticed by developers, by the team as well. And that's like your ticket in, actually. And that's something you can't do in a real business. You can't just hang out in the how do I say it, in the cafeteria with talking with everyone and hoping, okay, let's hope they just hire me now here. And it's not possible. Or hang out in the parking lot. That's something you can't do with a real business. This is something that you can do in blockchain. Just hang out with the people who are working there, because that's possible.
Yeah, recently we expanded our team, but many people comes from our ecosystem, like I'm from Ambassador right now.
You've really created a very community-driven project. I've been following you guys since, I think, October of 2020.
Awesome.
When you guys were doing the lock drops. I wonder if you can give people a little bit of an overview of the vision that you were talking about back then, and how it's going so far.
So we would like to make a community-driven, decentralized, autonomous organization. So, in general, startup is going to try to do IPO or M&A. So this is the goal of traditional startup. But we are doing a blockchain startup. So our goal is to create a decentralized, autonomous organization. So let's say Facebook is not working without Facebook company, and Google is not working without Google as a company. But in case of blockchain, Bitcoin will be survived without company, and Astar network will be survived without stake technologies. So this is what we would like to do.
Yeah.
And to do so, the community-centric approach is really needed. That's why we did lock drop. So basically, we distributed our token to community first, and then we raised the fund from the VC. So I think many projects raised the fund from VC. Then they started selling token to the ecosystem member, right? But the price is always cheaper for the VC. In community, the price is much higher for the community. Then only VC can get a higher profit, and the community is going to lose money in some sense. So we distributed token to the community first. So this is lock drop. So we did not get even 1 cent, $1 from the community. We distributed through lock drop, and then we raised the fund from the top VC such as Binance, OKX, Huobi, Fenbushi, Hashkey, and so on. So we are very proud of our decision.
Yeah, what struck me at the time was this idea of building layer 2s onto the parachains, and it just seemed like you guys were trying to skate to where the puck is going to be. Maybe you can tell everybody, explain it like we're five, what this cross virtual machine is and what you hope it's going to do.
Basically, we are making a smart contract hub on Polkadot. So we started making Plasma, like a Plasma layer 2 solution. But layer 2 is not needed in a short term, because Polkadot itself is a scaling solution.
Right.
So we changed our direction from layer 2 to smart contract hub. Smart contract hub is needed because Polkadot relay chain does not support smart contract functionalities by design. So we need smart contract hub. And when it comes to smart contract hub, Ethereum compatibility is really important. And this is what Moonbeam is doing. So we also support Ethereum virtual machine, but we believe the future is WebAssembly, as Gavin said at the CoinDesk conference.
That's right.
So he said WebAssembly is the future of smart contract, but the legacy Ethereum virtual machine is right now. So our idea is supporting two different virtual machines at the same time. So people can deploy their smart contract on the top of our Ethereum virtual machine by using Solidity. And people can deploy WebAssembly compatible smart contract on the top of our WebAssembly virtual machine. And the contract on the Ethereum virtual machine can interact with WebAssembly and vice versa. So this is going to be a game changer in the long run.
But for somebody who doesn't write code, how would you explain what's possible with WebAssembly that isn't possible with the Solidity smart contracts?
Yeah, I will let the teacher to explain, Maarten.
Yes, please.
So basically, if you look at our ecosystem, we are aiming for two kinds of developer. One developer family is building with Ethereum. They are familiar with Solidity code. They are familiar with Viper. They are familiar with using Remix, Hardhat, and all the Ethereum tools. That's one developer family. And with WebAssembly, we are actually focusing on Rust developers. And this is actually a complete different kind of developers because Rust developers don't need to be blockchain developers. They can actually be developers who are now working at all kinds of businesses all around the world. And with WebAssembly-based smart contracts, we can even attract those with the knowledge that they already possess with coding with Rust. If you would look at the developer family from Ethereum, that's a completely different language. And it's not, and another developer who's working for a business will come into the blockchain. He has to learn Solidity before he can use Solidity and can code Solidity. And that's very easy because EVM is so popular. You can find tutorials, you can find documentation, you can find YouTube videos, you can find anything on the internet.
Yeah.
But that's not now the case with WebAssembly-based smart contracts. That's rather new. But it uses code that they already know or already possess. So it's easier for them to code as well. So that's why we created an ecosystem, or we can attract those in the blockchain who are already coding in the blockchain and build smart applications on top of us. But at the same time, we also can attract new developers who are just getting to know the blockchain industry. I want to know the knowledge that they already, or the coding language that they already possess, and use it as well to create decentralized applications. If you would look at if you look at GitHub, Rust language itself is the fastest growing language on GitHub, and GitHub is not blockchain. GitHub is everything. Yes, all businesses are on GitHub. All open source projects are on GitHub, and Rust itself, that language, is the fastest growing one on GitHub, meaning that there's a whole lot of developers who aren't yet in the blockchain can join the blockchain with WebAssembly. And that's what Gavin Wood was saying. That's the power. And that's the same with Solana, bringing those developers to Solana, because Solana is also built with Rust and looking for developers building applications on Rust. And that's something that you see now on Solana with the completely, when you look at their charts on CoinMarketCap, it's like insane. So they're also a very fast growing business because they attract those developers in the blockchain, and businesses are going for this as well. And when you look at the scalability of WebAssembly, is so much larger than EVM is at this stage. So I'm not saying that EVM will not go that place in the later on, but currently EVM would not be possible if, let's say, blockchain would scale to 10, 15, or maybe 20% of the world population will be using blockchain. That will not be possible on EVM because EVM can't handle that much from this. But WebAssembly can. That program language can handle that much traffic and can handle that much scalability. And that's what Gavin Woods was saying about, and the same vision with Polkadot as well. At the same time, like it can handle that scalability that the blockchain world needs. And that's why we want to create an ecosystem where both developer families can live together, because you have that blockchain family, that crypto family, the crypto community building crypto related applications, and that's still needed. But on the same you also got the developers or the businesses or the real use cases now in the real world, they are also looking to implement blockchain, and they want to implement it with the developers they already have in-house. They know Rust, so why not build something on blockchain with Rust? And that's where we can come in as well.
In addition to that, WebAssembly is the virtual machine for the web, which means WebAssembly is developed by like a big company such as Google, Mozilla, Apple, and so on. So we would like to create the blockchain for billions of peoples. The Ethereum virtual machine is mainly for Ethereum developer, so which means less than million, right? So we need a blockchain for billion of people. So we would like to have a lot of developer, as many as possible.
So part of attracting both developer families, I guess that was the intention of the $30 million ecosystem growth fund?
Yes, correct. That was actually the reason to attract those, but this is still in such an early stage because at this point it's still in how do I say it, in their baby shoes with the WebAssembly to be used on a parachain on Kusama and Polkadot. We are still working on this together with Parity, and this will be like what we now have is like a long-term vision. In the short term, we still fully put our resources on that EVM because that's short term. We need that EVM, and that's something that people understand and use. But in the long vision, we are going for that WebAssembly as well. And one main issue with WebAssembly or WebAssembly based smart contracts, it's all about education, and Parity is doing like an excellent job with this, right? With their substrate seminars, with their documentation, with their developer documentation. They are doing so great work on this.
Yeah.
But it's so early still if you compare it with Ethereum. But we will get there, and I'm sure that we will get there. And our long-term vision will get there as well. But it takes time, and we have a growth fund, and we have projects now working on the WebAssembly part, but they are still waiting to launch because WebAssembly smart contracts are not yet available on parachains.
Okay, so there's a technical issue.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Is there any
Right.
timeline of when that's going to be resolved, or is it, we're trying to figure it out as we go?
I think it will be resolved in January next year,
Whoa.
at least Q1.
Yeah, it will be in Q1. There is a GitHub issue available where everyone can look at the developments going on, and it's getting close to finish. So most likely in Q1, the WebAssembly based smart contracts will be available on a parachain and will be available on Shiden and Astar. Yes.
So these 17 DApps on Shiden right now, they're all EVM based, eh?
Yes. But we have a more than 17 project because our portal is whitelisted version right now. Because if it is permissionless, we are going to see a lot of fake Uniswap or fake SushiSwap and so on. So it is whitelisted version. We have been working with more than 50 projects right now.
Yeah.
So community is expanding.
Fantastic. And what do you look for when a group of developers comes to you with an idea? What are you looking for to give you confidence that they're going to support the community in the way you desire?
As again, I'm saying like we look everything in a long-term vision, and it's difficult to explain this to community members now because community members on Telegram, they are all short vision-sided people looking to get the fastest gains as possible.
Yes.
But that's not how a business works, and business needs to look in the long-term vision.
Yeah.
So how do we look this in the long-term vision is that we are looking for projects that now joins our builders program, and we want projects to be how do I say it, be born in our ecosystem, natively born in our ecosystem. Like if you look at let's say Uniswap, I will say Uniswap, they are born on Ethereum.
Yeah.
But when they will go to another ecosystem, the community will not be the same as the community that is with Uniswap on Ethereum. It's a completely different atmosphere, completely different kind of use of Uniswap. And that's what we see also with that's our vision as well. Looking for the projects, listening to their idea, listening to their vision, looking what they want to build, and work with them from day one together, building that on Shiden, on Astar, on Polkadot, So in the long term, in the long vision, they are born on us, and they have the community that is born together with them. And I think that's the power of getting those projects in our builders program as well. We can easily go and say, okay, we want like to make a clone of Uniswap. Let's do it on Shiden, but it's not the same. Then it would be like a project starting from zero. And we have like a project who already has an EVM part on Binance and things, and it's built on us as well. Like the cross chain is there, you can swap from Binance to us, but at the same time, they're also working on a DEX based on WebAssembly. So they are working on a DEX as well that will be born in our ecosystem and have the experience of that EVM DEX as well. And we make it possible in our ecosystem as well to use those different virtual machines to communicate with each other. So they will use their EVM DEX to communicate with their WebAssembly based DEX.
Wow.
And this is a whole nother level of using the different kinds of virtual machines inside the same ecosystem without moving to another bridge or using another bridge, but can actually just work just on one place. And having that available will be a game changer for the entire Polkadot ecosystem.
Wow. You know, guys, it's a beautiful vision, and I haven't heard it before. So thank you for sharing it. Sota, I wonder, you know, this long-term vision, how do you maintain that on a relay chain like Kusama, where your pair chain closes at the end of May, right?
Right. So this is going to be the things we have to consider. So maintaining the two different networks is really tough in terms of technical resource. So we have a Shiden, which is already live on Kusama, and we are going to have Astar on the top of Polkadot. So we have to decide a clear process, onboarding process. We recommend Shiden first, and then we're gonna recommend Astar. But blockchain is permissionless. So I'm not sure the new project choose Shiden or Astar because it's going to be their choice. So we need a clear incentive to create something on the top of Shiden first, and then Astar. In a super long run, let's say 2030 or 2035 or something like that, we would like to acquire Shiden token by using Astar token treasury in a very long run.
Yeah, I never actually thought about that projects will just get to choose wherever they go. And I guess that's where the DApp staking comes from, the basic income for developers.
Exactly. So DApp staking, this is the basic income for all developer. Now, blockchain is all about incentive, right? But the incentive is broken right now in the blockchain ecosystem because developer is the most fundamental and precious human resource in the entire blockchain ecosystem. But they are paying a lot of the cost by contributing to the ecosystem. So, for example, if I deploy my DEX smart contract on the top of Ethereum, I have to pay $1,000 to deploy smart contract. So this means developer is losing money by contributing to the ecosystem, right? So we need proper incentive for developer. To make the long story short, all developer in our ecosystem can get basic income while making smart contract or while making infrastructure. And this basic income comes from block rewards, so inflation. And reward should be distributed based on the performance, like on-chain data, active address, or active transaction, and reputation. So our developer is going to be sustainable without issuing token or just contributing to the ecosystem. That's enough. They can earn token, they can earn money, and they can use that token for founding core team or liquidity mining or incentivizing their product, or rewards for the governance token, etc. So there are a lot of usages. And some of the project is distributing NFT to the community. Oh, by the way, people can stake Astar token and Shiden token on the top of dApps, and based on the staking amounts, block reward is going to be distributed right now. So project have to attract Shiden and Astar token from the community, and then they distribute NFT, or they're doing kickback campaign or bonus and so on. So people are using our DApp staking with very innovative way. So I'm really excited about it. And the beauty of our token economics is the more dApps are created in our ecosystem, the more tokens should be locked on the top of dApps.
Right.
And the less token in circulation. Then there is positive feedback on our valuation. And once valuation is getting higher, we can distribute much more token to the developer. This is very similar to Polkadot token economics.
It's such a great idea. I wonder, where was the inspiration for the DApp staking idea?
Our CTO was genius.
Amazing.
He invented it.
All right. So how are you guys feeling about the Polkadot auctions? How are they different than the Kusama auction?
Yeah, we would like to secure the third slot. So basically, Moonbeam and Dakar are doing great job and attracting a lot of dots from the community. But the one difference between Astar and them, we did not do any ICO. So they have done ICO, and probably they changed the USDT token or USDC token to dots at the price of 10 or something like that. Then it is 50 right now. So they have a bunch of dots. So we distributed our token to community first, and we have never done ICO. We have never get USDT or USDC from the community. So in this sense, we did not have enough budget compared to them, but I think we are doing a great job right now.
I wonder if there are any parachains across both networks that you really respect, parachains that you're excited to work with.
We do like a lot of those projects who are now already a parachain on Kusama, as well as on that will be on Polkadot, because a lot of community members, or a lot of how do I say it, community members from all different parachains, they don't look at it the same way as us as a company. Like Sota was saying in the beginning, Astar was there at the beginning when Gavin Wood shared his vision. And it was not just Sota that was there, but it was also Brian from Makala. It was also Derek from Moonbeam. There were a lot of people who are now still in this ecosystem now of Polkadot. And we don't see each other as a competition or something like that. We see each other as partners in holders, because the vision of Polkadot is to use each other's parachain in the future. Let's say for us, there is a project built on Makala, or there is a project built on Moonriver, and we have a project built on China. It would be possible to integrate something that is built on Moonbeam in us, or use us. Or we build a bridge with Cosmos. It's possible that Akala just use the bridge through us without even the community knows about it, that they are using it. So I see this more as like a family of parachains where we use each other's resources as well. If we have questions about Ethereum or something about EVM that we don't know, we go to Moonbeam and ask, do you guys have the same issue? What did you guys do about this? And that's the same with Akala. Brian is something that's educating a lot of people in the Substrate Academy. If we have some questions, we go to Akala, or we just go to a group Web3 with Parity, and all those members and all those teams are also there to provide answers to us. But the community itself, it's like now in a Crowdloan. We have that big holders of Moonbeam, and they are fighting, or Moonriver, and they are fighting against Shiden, and vice versa. But that's not how we are doing, because at conference we are talking with each other and we are making fun, we are drinking beer. We don't see each other as competition, but that's not with the community. And I do understand that. If I'm a community member, okay, full in on Shiden, okay, blah blah on Moonriver, but that's not how we do it as a team. I think that's also not how a company should act like. But we see each other more as partners in everything. As with Remark, that is building like an NFT parachain or any other. We are working with them to build or to be used in our ecosystem, or to bring it as a use case for applications for them to, okay, look at what they are doing. Maybe you can integrate their services on your application. It's just possible with the XCMP on Polkadot or on Kusama to just use the data.
right now, the Crowdloan is a competition in some sense. But after the Crowdloan, we have to create clear use cases to work each other, like cross-chain messaging passing use cases on the top of Polkadot. And yeah, we know each other very well. So we would like to expand our community bigger and bigger together. And Polkadot is too small to compete right now. So we need to expand Polkadot itself much bigger.
Can you give our audience an update on the state of XCMP?
Yep. So basically, the cross-chain messaging passing is live on Kusama, and we can see some of the use cases right now, even today. But the problem is, we have to make a standard of the cross-chain messaging passing. So Akara created a standard, but some project created another standard. In this case, only Akara and if I use Akara's standard, I can transfer our token to Akara and Akara to Astar. But if some project is using another standard, I cannot transfer Akara token to them. So this is the problem right now. So we have to make a clear standard, and it should be delivered next year, the early next year.
Early next year, a clear standard that everybody can use to communicate?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I thought the XCMP was the standard, but I guess I don't fully understand.
Yeah, there are some standards right now.
Okay, gotcha. Sota, we saw on Twitter that you were hanging out with Rubo from Parallel. Can you tell us anything about that?
Oh yeah, so Yubo is my close friends, and Yubo is also in San Francisco right now. So he is doing great job in a Polkadot ecosystem, basically supporting Crowdloan for all parachain. And he said around 20% of all Crowdloan contribution comes from Parallel. So our Astar network user can join our our Crowdloan through Parallel. Yeah. And they can get Parallel token plus Astar token. So they are making a gateway for the Crowdloan. So we are working closely right now, and they are backed by big funds such as Sequoia, Founders Fund, and so on. So yeah, they are doing a great job, and this is not zero-sum game. This is positive-sum game.
Yeah.
So after becoming a parachain, we are going to create parallel use case on the top of Astar, and the Astar token will be available on the top of parallel parachain.
Gotcha, great. And speaking of zero-sum games, when we were soliciting questions from the audience, someone wanted to know who won that game of chess?
Me.
Oh, nice.
So I won. So actually, it was my first game. I did not know the rule of the chess, but I won.
You did not? Okay, so, okay. Now
yeah, basically chess is very similar to Japanese chess, and Japanese chess is very similar to Chinese chess. So I understood the basic rule. Oh. But yeah, I won. But Yubo is very good poker player. Probably if I play poker with him, I will lose.
Okay, well we'll have to have a live stream of that sometime for sure.
Right.
All right. Well, we're kind of coming to the end here. I just wanted to ask. I think I'll ask you, Maarten. I'm wondering what's the most unique project, the most unique idea you see developing on Astar or Shiden right now that you think is going to have the largest impact down the road?
Oh, that's a difficult question, because if I think maybe other projects will shoot me for this. No.
You were not picking favorite children here. We're just something that comes to mind.
Yeah, but I've been working since I started with Astar or looking for projects in our Builders program. One of the earliest projects that I worked with was Nifty Labs. They are not so well known. They are very small, but they are working with NFTs. And what the game changer with NFTs that they are creating is they are creating gates to different utilities, to give different utilities to an NFT. And recently they had like an event, I believe somewhere in New York, where the organizers want to use a ticket sale, but the ticket sale was an NFT. And they created like a bridge when the person come on the phone with the NFT. That bridge made sure that some utilities got unlocked with that NFT, and that could be used at that event. And also you can get extra utilities during the event with certain NFTs and can do certain swaps with persons already there in the event and create some kind of extra NFT. And plus a great incentivize for people to use NFTs at an event, to gamify it a little bit by joining something that for some people maybe is a little bit boring for some case, but they made like very great for users to do something and to understand the power of NFTs in the real world case. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to see that more in the real world use of NFTs. And they are doing like a great job on this. And Nifty Lab is for me one of those projects that's really stood out of how they grow in their business and yeah, I'm really looking forward to see them build on Shiden or Astar and being able to see all these kind of different use cases around NFTs built by them. So that's one of my big From Malthus projects.
We'll throw a link down to them in the description below. Sota, it's incredible what you've done. It's incredible that you were there at the beginning, and now you have a fully functioning parachain on Kusama. You're about to get one on Polkadot. I wonder if you have any advice for people who are dreaming big, wanting to make a big impact in the world and leave their mark. I wonder if you have any advice for them of how to follow through and make things happen.
In a crypto world, making money is easier. So, but doing the right things is very tough. So I recommend people to follow their vision and mission. So money follows people. So people should follow their dreams or vision. So this is my advice. In doing the right things with right people, then you can make it.
Great. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we go, either of you?
Yeah, we're going to do our best to secure the parachain slot. And once it's live, probably we are going to fully launch our network in January, because we don't want to launch our network in the middle of December or end of the December. So yeah, Astar is going to be fully live in January. And next year, we would like to expand our community. We would like to invite a lot of the great projects. And we're going to be one of the fundamental protocol to realize Web 3.0, all things for Web 3. Yeah, thank you, Jay, for having me today.
Fantastic having both of you. If anybody's interested, if anybody has some DOT kicking around in their wallet, the Crowdloan is open now. We're going to have everybody's socials linked in the description below, as well as a link to the Crowdloan and the Astar DApp. So thanks very much for joining, and we'll be blasting off again on something soon. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.